And welcome to the Filmstein Podcast, a podcast where we are challenged with trying to articulate a love for art and storytelling. Today we bring you a shorter, off-the-cuff episode, and what is the start of, where we watch a film and rush into the recording studio to give some raw thoughts. Today I am joined by my mythological friend, Lucy.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for being here today. I'm glad everybody could join us because today we will be talking about Alex Scharfman's 2025 release, Death of a Unicorn. And of course, I was very interested in this film because Ari Aster produced it. I believe his last producer cred went to Sasquatch Sunset, which I was very into. It went way too long, of course. I don't know how they squeezed an hour and a half out of that film, but here we are with another weird film. And I'm happy to report back that I had a mildly good time with this film. It almost runs the question of a horror movie, but with unicorns. There are parts of this film that might ring true with very specific conspiracy theorists. People who believe that if they can just get their hands on that thing, it will open their third eye into knowing everything, whatever everything is, being at one with everything. I've met folks like that just believe if they could just tap into the right literature, the right mushroom, and they'll figure it out. Turns out you can just read a book, but I do like the kind of reference to drinking baby blood, the elite, the 1% drinking baby blood to heal our ailments. More and more of these house horror films like Bodies, or whatever that movie's called with Pete Davidson, and that one where they switch bodies. Their consciousness goes from one body to another. They all kind of start to feel the same. And it seems like our main characters never have something to lose by the end of it. They just have this experience, this traumatic experience, and they just make it out just fine. Is it horror in general? I feel like there's always a group of friends, and there's kind of your main chick or main dude that loses everyone along the way. So they've lost something by the end, right? Other than having this traumatic experience. Well, in Death of a Unicorn, our main characters gain nothing other than, I guess, a friendly relationship, right? We're very bookend with them cuddling in the beginning on the plane, involuntarily, of course. Jenna Ortega's character's sleeping, and then at the end, when they're in the cop car, they're huddled together. And I did think it was kind of cute where in the very beginning, we have Paul Rudd's character, the dad, hit the unicorn. They think they kill it, yada, yada, yada. Movie plays out. And then at the very end, the unicorns run into the cop car. And then the film ends. Cute little bookends. And of course, with the elite, poking fun at them. The incompetency, how using the internet's more powerful than science and that kind of research. There's sort of maybe a lot going on in this film to some degree, but it doesn't really go anywhere. And of course, it's not meant to. We end up with a very self-contained film for the most part. But I'm very curious how you feel about Death of a Unicorn.
I saw a short recently with Jenna Ortega and Paul Rudd that I saw for like 5 seconds and then went to the next short during a doom scrolling session. And I guess in the back of my mind, I was thinking, what movie or what show, I guess I didn't know if it was a movie, are Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega doing? Well, I guess now I know. And I'll say that this was a pretty good movie. I liked it. I had a fun time watching it. I didn't get any of the evil, elite, 1%ers having access to things that nobody else does, but I like that perspective. I guess what I took from this film was the lengths parents will go to protect their young. I like that neat little parallel between the unicorn parents to Paul Rudd's character to protect their kids. All the insane nonsense they go through to make sure their kids will be okay. I also like how heartwarming this movie was.
Oh, I agree. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's pretty cute. But everything that happens in between is not very cute. I very much enjoyed the cast. I enjoyed the characters. There was not one that was unnecessary.
Sure, before you knew it, we were on to the next bit with them, so you never really had a chance to get tired with them.
Yeah, and I thought Griff was an awesome character. I liked how he was always prepared for everything, and he was always thinking one step ahead of everybody, and then they volunteered him to go.
That was funny. Are we gonna make the bald, kind of sentimental guy like a trope? We saw this in Anora. Now we're seeing it in Death of a Unicorn. Is this the start of the bald softy? The bald 2 steps ahead of you kind of guy?
Yeah, I don't know. There's always that stereotypical butler kind of handyman that's always been around for the family, always taking care of the family. But now we're getting into a physical trope and demeanor. So I don't know. I'd be curious to see where we go with that. The unicorns looked awesome. The baby kind of looked derpy in the beginning. I wasn't sure where we were going to go with that. And that scene was sad. And I started to feel my eyes become a little wet, but no tears. And I attribute that to how derpy the unicorn looked, that it just took me out of it a little bit. But it was a surprisingly emotional moment. The parent unicorns looked awesome. I loved how they looked. They looked monstrous. They looked very scary. I love animals, but I'm also very scared of them. In particular, deer.
And deer-like creatures.
And deer-like creatures, like horses and unicorns. So this terrified me more than I care to admit. Also because I ran over a deer once, a baby deer, and I've always thought the parents were going to come haunt me, and now this is what this has become. So I get it. I get the vision. I love it. There were about 4 jump scares. One really good one where I almost threw whatever I had in my hand into the movie theater because it got me. And I was surprised afterwards that it got me, because the scene that this happened in was when Elliot, Paul Rudd's character, was looking out the window, or I guess it was a door. He was peeking through the door. The lights were flickering on and off. We saw the shadow of the unicorn. Then it was gone. And then, of course, he's going to pop out. Of course he is. But I didn't expect it. And it got me. And it was pretty funny afterwards. And I don't know if it even matters if I can tell when these jump scare moments are going to happen. Because I still feel them 100%. And that's fun. That's fun, being jump scared in a film.
Yeah, I like you bringing up that parallel between Elliot and Ridley with the unicorns. And even going as far as the unicorns being monsters and being unrecognizable in some way and doing things that you may not expect, because they're just looking out what's best for you and trying to protect you any way they can. And sometimes a parent doesn't know whether what it's doing is good or bad. They think it's good, but it's not always so clear, obviously. And we see that kind of through Jenna Ortega's character, Ridley, being largely disgusted by her dad's actions, right? He's a monster in her eyes, which is great, leaping from the back of, that snobby, I should say, preteen that Jenna Ortega seems to play a lot of, and is pretty good at. Her face, she's got that face of,
what are you doing?
Yeah, or like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
She's got a good face for this very specific kind of relay. And so kind of marrying that attitude towards a parent with a horror setup of unicorns just trying to protect their baby, it works to some degree. It works enough, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
The movie doesn't try to do much. It's really just leaping off the backbone of a few funny ideas like the baby blood, the elite not really knowing what they're doing, and they hire people to know for them, basically.
Mythological creatures like unicorns.
Also, them poking fun at the use of cell phones in a horror movie is kind of fun. I'm sure a million modern horror movies have done it. But there seems to be a self-awareness here that sells a lot of the poking fun and not going anywhere with it.
Yeah, there's lots of horror movies that wouldn't fly if they had technology.
Yeah, the movie would be over before you knew it, kind of thing,
Yeah.
because they could call the police or use their GPS,
Something.
maybe
Use the phone flashlight.
teach you how to make a bomb out of
Yeah, Google
household
something.
stuff. Yeah. There's maybe also an element of respecting nature here. Don't bend it to your will, which is maybe a good play off of the elite. And maybe humans at large, of just how we abuse good things in the world. And there seems to be some self-awareness there, especially with the doctor being like, or the scientist dude being like, we can't recreate this compound. Nature continues to humble science. We can't do everything.
Right. Yeah, I like that too. And sort of tying being a good, decent person, like Jenna Ortega's character, Ridley, helps us coexist with nature, being kind-hearted to each other.
Which she's not very good at in this film. That's kind of a weird contradiction in some way, because she's the fair maiden or whatever.
Right.
She's the warm-hearted, good-hearted person, but she's kind of a terrible person in this film. Like, she makes it pretty hard for anyone to like her, at least on this trip. I get, it's the dishevelment between her and her dad, but that's all we see of her. So to us, she's really only this whiny teenager that knows more than you, and so it's like, you're the good-hearted one, but it's hard to like you.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of character redeeming qualities or opportunities from her. Yeah.
Only that she's kind of right. That's like the redemption, I guess, that we should have listened to her. It's like, well,
why would we listen to you?
Because you read a wiki page?
Yeah.
It's like,
You printed out some tapestries? Okay, that's weird. What made you think to do that? I also like how realistic, and maybe realistic is the wrong word here with unicorns being involved, but I liked how realistic the movie stayed, because I thought at some point someone was going to turn into a unicorn, especially Odell's son, Shepard, when he snorted them. I don't know. Did the horn drugs?
Yeah, he was snorting the dust of the horn.
Yeah, and his eyes became all rainbow-like, like something was going to happen to him. But we didn't go that route. So I'm thankful for that. I also thought at the end we were going to have a Beauty and the Beast moment where her tears were going to be the ones that healed him when she was crying over him. Like Belle healed the Beast when she was crying over him. Or I guess it was her love, but, it was that scene where the tears fell down. Because she was this fair maiden or whatever, so I thought that unicorn connection was now going to make her a little bit more powerful. But instead, we had the two unicorns do some cool unicorn magic or science with their horns and bring everyone back to life. Both would have been fun.
Yeah, the presence of the tapestries kind of just ended up being this convenient thing to protect Jenna Ortega's character, Ridley, right?
Mm-hmm. So at the end, when the three unicorns were about to ram the cop car, and there was this moment with the mom unicorn and Elliot, was it just me, or was that supposed to be the mom? And now, because Elliot and Ridley have been touched by the unicorns, they were going to have the same fate as the mom? I don't know. I was a bit confused there. Or it just could have been a hint of, hey, duck down, and they did, and they rammed the cop car.
Well, they kind of infer that these unicorn are like a transcended species. They can see past, present, and future type things. They're all knowing, and of course they tried to subject us to thinking that the mom is acting through the unicorn or something along those lines. And I'm not really sure how open-ended they really leave it, because no matter what happens to Ridley and Elliot, the unicorns can just bring them back. So it's hard to suggest one thing or the other, especially when you've just spent the whole movie kind of identifying Ridley and Elliot with the unicorns and the lengths you'll go to take care of your kids, even if you appear to be a monster. Taking Elliot and Ridley to where the mother is at is kind of taking a couple steps back, I would say.
Yeah, I could see that.
All right, man. Well, thank you for watching Death of a Unicorn with me and talking about it here today.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming to see this with me.
Do you have a budget guess?
I'm going with 20 mil. It's an A24 film. It's a horror film. Ari Aster is involved. We know that man can budget like no one's business. We have some higher names like Jenna Ortega, Paul Rudd.
The Eyebrow Man.
Yes, Will Poulter, the Eyebrow Kid. So I wouldn't go too far from 20 mil. That's pushing it a little bit for a horror film from my experience and guessing.
Well, you've gotten pretty good at this. The budget was $15 million, and it's went on to make $5.8 million, but it's only been in theaters for a few days now, so we'll see how that all turns out. Over on Letterboxd with only 34,000 people so far. I feel like that's decent, though. They weighed in at a 3.1, which makes sense, I think, for a mildly out-of-the-box kind of horror film.
Yeah, I'm giving this a 3 right off the bat, coming from that high of a movie theater watch.
Gotta watch those,
yes, but I'm going with a 3. I had a fun time watching it. None of it felt slow or too weird or off. I laughed. I teared up. I got the bejesus scared out of me. The characters were fun. The movie looked good. I don't know if there was any horrendous CG in this. I didn't see any. I don't know how well the unicorns look to you, but to me they look freaking awesome. A monster movie always elevates my films, especially if they look cool. I love how Godzilla-ish their unicorns glowed, especially with the sound design. I wouldn't be too far from a 3 if I changed my mind.
Yeah, I feel you on a lot of that, and at the end of the day, this is kind of just a fun movie.
Yeah, horror films don't offer a lot of what did I get from this?
Not normally. And my gut wants to kind of stick with a 1.5 type thing, but I had fun. Gotta remember it's okay to have fun, and that be kind of what you walk away with. It's a solid 2. But yeah, man, thank you again for talking about this movie, and thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Filmsteins. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Remember, this is a uncut, raw, off the cuff, right out of the seat discussion about Death of the Unicorn. Like, we literally just saw this 10 minutes ago. Real fresh. I hope you guys enjoyed that, though. Remember, we post normal episodes every Wednesday and Friday on all of our free feeds like YouTube and Apple Podcasts. Please come subscribe. Come right in. Come request a film. We appreciate all the support. Thank you guys very much. But until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of The Filmsteins. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed the discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmsteins. And follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching, keep loving the magic of movies. This is The Filmsteins, signing off.